Hey everybody, it's Bust, doing expedition trial number 318. Let's see who shows up. Okay, so I think I'm cool with just diving in on this Ezreal. It feels like, I don't know if it's like recency bias or what, but it feels like I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but it feels like we've run into both Ezreal and Lee Sin here quite recently, but I'm not a humongous fan of this Darius. I don't like starting with Darius to begin with, but Disruption is not a good Darius pool. Like Nox and Might is, of course, very good. Blood on the Ice is reasonable. Disruption is bad. This is the one that pairs up with Yasuo, and it's meant to use like all of these stuns to level up your Yasuo, but it just doesn't do too much on its own for a champion that tends to just be a support champion, anyways. And so we'll let that one go. And so we have to make the big decision: do we want to go after the Lee Sin and see if we can't piece together something there, or do we want to go for the Ezreal and see? I know how we can do this. We'll pull it up on the site. We'll click on the little search bar. Let's see. Let's just see which one was most recent, and then we'll pick the other one. So Lee Sin was in number 311. Oh, come back, please. Ezreal. They were the same one. Dang it! I remember that one. That was a fun one too. But before that, Ezreal was number 282. Let's see. Man, I'm not good at pushing buttons today. Lisa, boop. 286. Okay, so does look like we're going to be choosing the Ezreal here. So this is going to be a Death's Door Ezreal. Let's go back to the site and we'll get him pulled up here. To give you a hint at what's going on, if you're not familiar, this is ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition-related content. If you're looking for a guide on a specific champion, that search button we just pushed great way to find it. But today, we'll be on the main page or the expedition helper, however you prefer to get your way here. We're just going to click on this little drop down box, go to Ezreal, and take a peek at what he's working with. And so, yeah, I mean, the idea with this card pool pairs up with Thresh. It's meant to be an Ezreal build around, and you're supposed to be leveling up your Ezreal using removal spells, right? So Ezreal here has, Aftershock, Gotcha, Mystic Shot. There's probably some other ones in here, Death Ray that we don't really care about, Static Shocks, Thermogenic Beams, great. All of these targeted removal spells. You can go over to the Thresh side, find your Vengeances, your Grasp of the Undying, some Unspeakable Horrors. Like all of these just targeted removal spells are meant to level up your Ezreal. Which, like historically, that would be a reasonable limited deck, just playing a whole bunch of removal spells and then maybe a couple of expensive dudes to close out the game with. I don't think that deck plays out too reasonably well in Runeterra. There's just too many ways to get card advantage. There's too many ways that decks can just like go over top of that. Like Ezreal just super struggles trading one for one against like an Invoke deck or a Daybreak deck. Even like the Kindred style kill your own units decks tend to just go over top of Ezreal. And so I don't recommend going for that. But that's not to say that Ezreal isn't a strong build around. You just have to have the correct means to do it with. And with that, you're looking for two separate things. You're looking for units that target. So that be like the Freljord Archer that gives something Frostbite, or the Stun Spider out of Noxus. Like those are just units that can come down, interact a little bit while also getting a target for Ezreal. Or you're looking for spells that target multiple things, and so Static Shock is kind of the worst of them. But you're looking for something like Make It Rain or Harsh Winds, just a single spell, two targets to get a couple ticks up on Ezreal, and so. That's the general strategy here. I tend to support more with Ezreal than we do build around with him, and so we'll see if we can end up doing something with this here. Whether or not it's a support or a build around, it kind of depends on the cards that show up. Okay, and then with these cards here, I think it's just going to put us directly into this Anivia, and we can kind of pretty reasonably build around Ezreal. It's just the problems with some of these card pools are, with the Elise, she really either wants to be in all Shadow Isles for a fearsome style deck, or she wants to be in Noxus to go full spiders, not what we're doing with P and Z. We could look to get some kind of like aggressive Katarina PNZ deck together, but I don't think these really play to each other's strengths. And so I could see, a world where it's like, yeah, we're getting rallies with Katarinas and double Mystic shots from these Nexus strikes, but I don't think that realistically sounds like a capable deck. And so we can let that one go. I don't think the Minotaur Reckoner counts as targets either, and so that leaves us down here with Anivia. She does have, a good start. She's got a Brittle Steel. She's got a Yeti Yearling. These card pools used to overlap, right? The Ezreal used to be the cloning program champion, now it's Anivia, but this is who we're going to end up pursuing here. So let's get her pulled up as well. With this card pool, I wanted to see if there's any way to just come out here and target things. I don't think there's really going to be. I know she has both Brittle Steel and Harsh Winds. There is a target available in Caught in the Cold, but that's gonna be it. We're really looking for the Frostbite Archer. I think they took Avrosian Marksman out of Expedition. And so, as we kind of piece these things together, we're probably not going to really be in this targeted Ezreal build around, but we'll still keep it in the back of our mind that we probably do still want multiple Ezreals as opposed to Anivias. But this is also the kind of deck where I see myself just being like, yeah, I'm just going to switch into Sejuani. And so we'll see how this goes. The real strength that stands in this Anivia card pool, though, is at the Yetis. And so you're going to have your Avrosian Trappers, your Yeti Yearlings. To a lesser degree, you can get access to Ancient Yeti. And then it also has access to some pretty powerful epics in the Hearthguard, Howling Abyss, and Tusk Raider. And so I don't recommend chasing after this cloning program theme. And I do ultimately worry that our pool is going to get diluted a little bit because we're going to see a whole bunch of this Vi cloning program where the cards are just garbage. This is one of the worst card pools in the game. But I think we can still make the best out of it. So, right up front, the two strategies we're going to be looking to go into are we're either going to be looking for a lot of targeted things. So we will look for those Frostbite Archers if we can find them. We'll look for our Harsh Winds. We'll look for a bunch of removal spells. Or we're also going to look to just build towards Yetis. And so I'm reasonably happy to do either of those things. So, Anivia it is. Okay, so yeah, Frozen Solid is along the lines of the pool that we'd be looking to have show up if we're able to build into Ezreal. But this is what we're going to take here. There is a targeted spell in Gotcha, and here's a big thing we need to look out for. This is ultimately one of my big worries. It's, we're going to start seeing these cards kind of filter together over here in Cloning Program. We want nothing to do with Call of the Wild, and Static Shock is pretty weak. So let's start out with the Brittle Steel Harsh Winds. And again, we're looking for Yetis, and we're looking for targeted spells and targeted abilities. So, Bloodsworn's Pledge, not going to target our enemies, so let's just come over here and take this Mystic Shot with the Benefactor. Very tough for me to ever want to go and pass on a Mystic Shot. Okay, then, an awkward set. These Call of the Wilds are abysmally bad. This is one of the absolute worst cards in the game. If you want to know how it feels to spend 3 mana in a card and not get anything out of it, then cast Call of the Wild a few times, because that's what you're bound to find yourself doing. So as this one stands, I think we're looking to just take the Tavern Keeper and the Wild Claw. I don't think Shredders play too well in this style of deck. Our Yetis tend to just win combats anyways, and getting that 1 damage AoE doesn't do a whole lot here. So we'll come and pick up the later game unit. Okay, here's our last chance to pick up a third faction. I've done extensive talking about 3 factions here over this past week or so. Not going to pursue that here. I don't think this will really add too much to our deck. So we are getting a targeted ability in the Icevale Archer with a nice closer in the Alpha Wildclaw. Nice little set of units. And okay, and so to kind of talk a little grand strategy here, because the Yetis haven't really come together, which is fine, but the way I tend to like to build these Yetis decks is, we have a bunch of Yetis, you get a bunch of 5/5s on the board, but they can't actually kill your opponent because they just block them over and over again. And so the big thing to find is the plunder dude. He looks like Udyr that plunders to flip and give your 5 attack units overwhelm as the means to close out games. And then if that happens, we don't need Alpha Wild Claws. But that doesn't seem to be how it's coming together here. And I think our top end is okay right now where it is. And so I'm going to let this Alpha Wild Claw go. I do want to see if we can't kind of develop this strategy a little bit of picking up Yetis and maybe one of those plunder dudes, but I don't think that we're going to have too many opportunities for him to show up. Here we got 2 targeted abilities. That's what we're pretty on point with finding here. Gonna go ahead and snatch these up. Okay, then we do have targeted abilities again, but Shatter, not that great of a spell. This is actually fairly weak of a card. We could probably make some usage out of it, and it does count as a target, but I'm going to let that one kind of slide for a moment. The one I'm mainly interested in here is the Eager Apprentice. Just a fantastic early game play, especially when Mystic Shots are concerned. And then we could find something to do with Sump Dredger. He's a reasonably statted unit. As long as you don't look at his ability as like downside when it comes to like, hey, I don't have a Mushroom Cloud, this is all downside to discard. That's not the case. You're still improving the card quality in your hand. So he's a reasonable dude. All right, with these, another Brittle Steel with a Kindly Tavern Keeper seems pretty decent. Okay, what do we think of Three Sisters? Well, I don't want cold resistance, but what do we think of Three Sisters? It wouldn't be that bad here. Like, I do like the utility. It has some targeted abilities in it, has a removal spell for kind of a catch-all that we would never really be able to pull off here because we haven't seen any thermogenic beams. And so, hey, if we don't have a beam, we have to kill something somehow. Entomb can do it. But I think we want to continue to take these Icevale Archers, and then 3 Alpha Wild Claws isn't too many. I don't really want to pick up a 4th one, but 3 is pretty decent. Okay, and then I don't think I want to give up on the Yetis just yet, so I'm okay with the Yearling and the Babbling Bjerg. We don't need to go too deep into these. 3 Brittle Steels is a little bit too many as it is, so I'm going to go ahead and skip over that. And we could pick up a Mystic Shot, but we don't want Plaza Guardians here, so we'll pick up the Yeti and the Card Advantage package. Okay, I think we do want to kind of go all in on these Icevale Archers, though. So, happy enough to pick that up with a Troll Chant. Happy enough to pick that up with a Troll Chant. Take another Icevale Archer. Okay, and our last one. Man, is just saying, no Yetis for you today. I think I still want to hang on to this. It's like the thing, it doesn't like synergize super well with Ezreal in the sense that, these Yetis aren't really good at closing out games, but they buy us like so much time, and they're usually pretty easy 2-for-1s. It's like I think I kind of want to hang on to this. So with this, I don't think I actually want to make any of these trades. I think we have 1 Caught in the Cold, which should be enough. We have enough normal removal spells otherwise in our Mystic Shots, and so I think this is okay. Let's just skip over this one. Maybe it leaves us like a little bit short on spells for Ezreal, but I think it's okay. But, we do need to go and turn something premium. I feel bad in that previous trial, we drafted completely around Legion Marauder, and then I was like, yeah, we've done all the commons. We don't have any Legion Marauders. And then, like, I didn't realize until right at the end that he wasn't premium, and so that was a huge letdown. It's probably ultimately why we lost that trial. And so I did want to scroll through here real quick, just give it a quick look-see to make sure that, all of our units are accounted for. Looks like we can level up the Babbling Bjerg. So welcome to the team, my friend. You are now premium. Let's get ourselves going into this trial. So yeah, I think that what will ultimately happen here is it's going to give us the option to take Ashe for our next 2 champions. And I don't think we want to do it, but I kind of want to get a feel for how close we are to leveling Ezreal, right? We have 11 spells and 5 Icevale Archers, and so 16 cards out of our 30, it's a little bit over half of our deck can target stuff, and so it seems like it's a pretty reasonable assumption to think that we can flip our Ezreal in this trial. But I kind of want to, get a feel for it in a game and see if that's too big of an ask or not. Oh yeah, what up, my friend? Here we go. We give out the cupcake when it comes to the hello time greetings. But more than happy enough to just come and trade this off. We don't have any Brittle Steels to try to win these combats, and so this should be pretty reasonably okay. Sin and Zoe. This isn't like super exciting, but I think it's okay. Uh-oh, sad face. We are kind of in this awkward spot with our, either playing Icevale Archers or getting this Tavern Keeper. Let's just pass and see what happens. If he plays a dude, we can get our target now. Up to 2. We're getting there.
One sling, a bunch of targets.
Yeti, you cheap. So let's see. Let's start with the Yeti. Like, I'm pretty cool to just like trade anything into Spring Guardian that can trade for it. The Starry Scamp doesn't have a lot of good targets. This is fine. Not getting any real combos out of these archers other than leveling our Ezreal.
Leaping into action. You gotta believe me.
Lighten up.
Yep. Big old chunks of damage. This is where these Alpha Wild Claws start to represent lethal pretty quickly. Okay. Paid full price for that, right? 5 mana. Have a really awkward hand. Or he just has a Lee Sin already. Horns of the Dragon. Okay. Let's let him go ahead and attack first. I'm cool to just take an 8 hit from this thing. That made it a little more awkward, but I think we're still fine. Doesn't have a lot of super good blocks, and we have the Harsh Winds for it next turn, so I think this is fine. Gonna fall to 2. That's a little gross.
This might hurt you.
Let's develop our board. It's not if it's not lethal and we just let it happen, then he can't kill us, right? This isn't a game like Magic where you can attack and your opponent has to be like, I ain't block it, and then you say, cool, here comes a spell, you know? And so I think that we're safe to just go ahead and take it here, especially when we have the Harsh Winds for his next attack. These aren't lethals, kind of the problem here. We need to keep 6 mana. I think just the Ezreal himself is fine. This gets him right on track to be flipping out here.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
I won't feel a thing.
Okay, the big thing here was to make sure that this Horns of the Dragon would fall low enough to take a Brittle Steel. Oh man. We're going to have to wait on the Harsh Winds now. These tricks have been pretty problematic. not gonna lie.
A lifetime of innovation.
Okay. We're still okay though. This having 11 health instead of 10 is pretty brutal though.
Our sun will not set today.
Come on in.
Time for violence.
We made it, Ram. I want to go home.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
Come on, Rim.
Baharak march.
Alright, we're gonna get this Ezreal to flip. Like, let's just go ahead and do all this. Like, this is happening. This is happening.
I'm so good, I surprised myself.
Still has a ton of mana, which is relatively scary, but
Meat gauntlet.
Do you know
let's see what we can do to his meat gauntlet here. So like a Twin Disciplines would be kind of awkward, but he would have to make the choice to take down either our Ezreal or take down our Alpha Wildclaw. So this is fine. He's going to have like a ton of these things? Do you really think he's taking down our Ezreal?
I see a little backup has arrived.
Okay.
You need new jokes, Kyan.
I assume this is just to make some kind of Ezreal blocker. Okay. Yep. Not bad. Probably just have to add this Wild Claw, right? I don't think we have a good pass here.
Ours is the one true light. Let's take this outside. I don't miss.
Why, hello there.
You're not getting through.
The guilty will bend. Don't test me.
Team to 4, so we want to Brittle Steel this one, right? We want our Eminent Benefactor to actually come out here and die. We gonna die to this? Gonna deal 20, 17? Yeah, he's got an open kill with the horns. It's kind of a problem. But I don't know if we ever win without this Alpha Wildclaw getting in. So we gotta draw a target, right? If we get a targetable spell, oh man, don't open and we can do it.
Chester never loses because Zoe makes the rules.
Nice. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry.
Go.
What do we think about just blocking with Ezreal?
I'm all bored
Probably can't, right? If we just draw a spell, we can still win the game.
Let's talk about your tab.
Okay.
Many tribes under one banner.
What do we got here? Something cool out of his star chart.
Tell me something cool.
Trickster.
Okay, what did you do
Okay.
this time?
We're one wider, which is hopefully enough to do this. I'm gonna get 2 wider and protect our Ezreal. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter for anything. But there is a world where he didn't just draw a unit here, so I think we should get our guy on board.
Knocked and ready.
I don't think it matters, but I guess like one of the worst things he could draw for us would be another barrier lifesteal. We might have a lethal here if he doesn't gain 11 health, and so let's at least try for it that way.
Those we care for
Guess we just win.
Watch and learn.
Technically do it like this, but
How about another round? Arrows at the ready.
Our banner will lead the way.
okay, that should do it. He's got
Like frogs.
5 units to our 6 units. All of ours do at least 2 damage. So
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I won't be
okay, but I mean, I think this shows we can build the Ezreal pretty reasonably between all of these Icevale archers being out here. I'm on board. It seems more reasonable than trying to like pivot to Ashe. Maybe it doesn't seem more reasonable, but I think we can still piece together something with this. I'm just like never a humongous fan of Ashe. Yeah, here she shows up. But like this Ezreal fixes all the problems we currently have with our deck, right? Just being like a little bit light on spells. So I'm not a huge fan of this Frozen Solid. So let's do this. Let's continue to build towards Ezreal. I think we can pull this off. All right, on we go. Guess we'll find out if we have enough spells. It seems reasonable, right? I don't think it's unreasonable. This is a tend to see these decks with like a little bit more Abrosian marksman. It's just not he technically an expedition. All the cards are technically an expedition, but he's not physically in any of the card pools. So you can't be like, all right, well I'm gonna take this Tryndamere because that's where the marksman lives and try to find him that way. But you know, a couple of Mystic Shots ought to be a decentish start. Although I suspect they'll kind of fall off quickly here. Let's keep one and see if we can't find some Icevale Archers, which we found. Kind of more on point with what I suspect our opponent's early game will be like. You know, we want to have like one Mystic Shot for the early game, and then all the other Mystic Shots will probably just go face. Let's see, we can't even deal with this guy. Heal me the health. Appreciate it. Oh man, you're gonna get overwhelmed. It's a lot of stats he's just picked up.
A lifetime of innovation.
We're just gonna have to start getting 2-for-1, I think. Really not happy with where we're at here. Okay. At least she's a 2-3.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
I mean, we're just gonna have to try and go wider than all this stuff. So, I mean, at least for a turn like this, we can gotcha something. We can, you know, Icevale Archer Shatter something. Maybe he just gave +2/+2 to a 2/2, so it's only a 4/4 now, right? We can go and deal with that. But I think we're about to run into a bit of trouble here. That's fine. At least can't follow up on this board anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and Frostbite one of these because we can gotcha in the middle of combat to try and shut down the other one. I assume he's probably not just gonna attack into this stuff anyways, but we'll at least give him some opportunities there. Get our Ezreal to 3. This does not feel good though. We're gonna get him to 11. And then we pretty much have to be on the burn plan from that point forward. I don't think we can safely play a Tavern Keeper here. Well, maybe we can. He's going to, say, play a 6-drop here and we can get an Icevale Archer tick on it. Then that's reasonable.
A true Freljordian will.
He's just going to add a 9/9 dragon. But, right, this should get us in for 6 damage, taking to 8. And then it's not as unreasonable to think that we can come in here and burn out from here. Does require an Ezreal to do though. Yeah, I mean we're wider than him as well, so that's the thing. We can take a 9 hit here without much issue. Oh, Sunforgers. Oh, that's brutal. I have to get this Mystic Shot on this now so that we can Brittle Steal it, and he doesn't gain any health.
Show some respect.
This could turn out good, assuming he has like no play after this. We can lethal him. Take heart. Fucking come on. What else are we supposed to say in this spot? Heimerdinger University, okay. We're just going to discard our hand, so I'm going to go ahead and Mystic Shot something. Guess we probably want to get the unit off the board. Our Ezreal will be flipped. I think we give up on that. I think we give up on the any of our units ever getting into combat. as we draw Tiana. It still just doesn't seem that likely. But I want to hang on to the Wild Claw since it stays in our hand forever, and then we can just continue on with the University. Oh, we'll end up discarding it, right? I guess that was kind of a whoopsies. I'm not used to just having this thing on the board. We do get to bank the spell mana this way though, which is kind of nice. Earth Sign, Vile Feast, and Purify. Okay. Is it going to go for the Overwhelm? Yes. So, I mean, we have two ways we could go about this. We can just hit it with Icevale Archer, or we could Vile Feast Purify it and actually try to take it down in combat. I think we probably just want to Icevale Archer. We are getting to like this realistic place to where we can just get wider than him. So look at that. Icevale Archer goes right through a spell shield. This game makes so much sense.
Let's take this outside.
So he appears to be up to some amount of shenanigans, but I'm more than willing to just throw all of our units away into this stuff. You know, one of the few ways we would go about winning this one is getting some like overwhelm damage in. So feels like he's gonna have like a +3/+3 or something down here, though. So let's just block with the Kindly Tavern Keeper.
Let's talk about your tab.
Battle Fury. Maybe we should have gone for the Purify. Well, at least we have the mana to do all this, so let's at least just pop his Spell Shield. I was not considering a Battle Fury to come in when I designed this play.
The storm approaches.
Can sneak in 4 damage here if we want. Probably what we're going to want to do for these dumb cards. Once each round, once you summon 3 allies, refill your spell mana and draw 1. Well, that's a post-combat thing.
Focus on me. Morning take you.
Okay. Do you count as 1? I've never played this card before.
Feast tonight, Barg.
We play for the people and sing for the land.
Each round, once you've summoned 3 other allies. Okay, once we stop and read it. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to pick up a Harsh Winds if we're gonna survive this, or we need to draw, you know, some kind of Frostbite for this and him not open on us. What are these? Rite of Dominance. Oof. Ooh, look at there. Looky there. As they say,
Pain is
sometimes just a
nothing.
little better lucky than good.
Radiant strikes.
There you are.
I'm ready. Maybe.
We play on.
Oh, this thing doesn't have Overwhelm anymore. Good to know. So, I mean, as far as this turn goes, we probably need to protect our Reaver and put as much damage on this thing as we can.
Don't like your
No, we're just never getting these units in. We've got to kill what we can.
Can't hurt trolls.
So, I mean, that's fine. Do probably want to kill the Sunforger and or stop Sunforger and Sejuani. We're not even getting lethal here. Destroy a mana gem. Where does that get us? Even have a unit survive? Okay. Oh, I keep forgetting we're going to have to discard these cards, though. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to Harsh Winds here and save our Reaver. That's a little sloppy. I'm not used to I'm not used to my turn starting and then having to discard everything. So that could make all the difference here in just having 2 additional units. Oh, Ezreal.
They don't know what
He has
they're
the
up
means to be
against.
lethal here.
Time for a true display of skill.
Daylight everlasting.
It's not bragging if you can back it up.
We gonna do it?
Nailed it.
Tap out for something that doesn't matter. make me feel a lot better. I'm gonna do this. So I don't know. I don't know what exists that would matter, but we just targeted his face and killed him. Oh, that makes sense. We did it. We did it. We survived it. Oh, sloppy. I don't know why y'all even tune into this stuff. Okay, we're moving on. So, interesting little set. It's tough to ever want to pass on progress days. It feels like we are a little light on our top end, and these wild claws are pretty good here. But I don't think I can pass on a progress day in this style of deck. So much of this comes down to just having like enough volume of cards to keep playing through Ezreal. I think this is a reasonable pickup, and if in the future we see like a I don't know, like that 4/5 overwhelm regenerate that we randomly generated a few times that game. If we hit that, then it's pretty similar to an Alpha Wildclaw. So there's not anything else that's pretty similar to Progress Day. But this is a start against a Reputation aggro deck here. Could be a little bit more mid-rangey. We don't know until we see it, but tend to need a lot of early game against this stuff. They also have some problems with enraged Yetis, so yeah, looking good. Glad to shut this stuff down. And I'm going to be a little bit less aggressive with these Icevale Archers. So, if opponent wants to play LeBlanc next turn and we get to Frostbiter, just buys us so much time. It's fine, we'll still have 4 mana next turn. If we don't just move into Ezreal.
Nothing can stop me.
A chill in the air.
Okay. Then is this 4 damage more than we're ever just going to get out of Ezreal? Or do we want to start generating Mystic Shots? I think we probably just want the 4 damage. We can still play him, but he's not going to be a part of the attack. Okay, fine. Okay. Go ahead and prevent this from leveling up, assuming he has another Strength in Numbers or another Legion Marauder. Y'all saw our previous trial with the with all of the Legion Marauders.
Plenty for all of us. I'll protect the villages.
Okay. This will be a humongous open next turn. Not taking any damage here. Still going to have our unit. We're going to have 9 damage coming through at a minimum. Pretty good.
Time for a true display of skill.
I love that you showed up, Wild Claw, but you're not going to be a piece of this attack. Ooh, and that costs 4 mana. That's huge for us. That's nice. I think I'm pretty okay with just Mystic Shotting here. Like, gets us back in this spot to where we just bank up a bunch of mana. We don't miss out on any of our spells. We can still Mystic Shot this thing next turn if we want.
I need just a moment.
Let's just go and get rid of this. I want to do it now. I don't want him to, you know, have a sharpened resolve or something to survive and bring down our Ezreal. Okay. Looks good.
Cut him down.
Not super worried about that 5, so I think we're looking pretty good here. See what he does. I'll play Gotcha on actual anything that's going to get our Ezreal to flip.
Line up.
And then I think we'll be pretty good going into next turn. Okay.
I don't miss.
Enjoy. He can make some awkward things for us happen, like if he has a Wordling Death or something, he can try to take down our Ezreal. We should have like good answers to just about anything he can do here, but
I'm so good, I
you know,
surprise myself.
you can't get a touch awkward. Now we assume we can just kill him with this Mystic Shot. Okay, okay. Things are happening.
And Ezreal is victorious. Oh yeah.
Oh, is that a new voice line? Ezreal going, oh yeah. That's good stuff. But all right, here we're just going to stack up our third Ezreal. We're pretty much fully intent on building around him. The second progress state can be a little overwhelming, but glad to have it. All right, on we go. Boom. I think everything's looking reasonable here. I think I'm probably, we want to pick up a couple more spells and do things like a Puffcat Peddler out of here, but I think we're okay. Doesn't feel like a 7 winner, but it feels like something that we can approach it, we can push it. This takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of skills, a little bit of trying hard. you can do anything with that, right? Okay. Maybe something like this. I could even see getting rid of the Tavern Keeper, but I like having access to both the 2 and a 3 drop. It's a fine keep. It's all our Ezreal level ups. Bad we can't target our opponent with the kindly Tavern Keeper. If on turn 3 we just played and healed our opponent from 20 to 20 to give Ezreal a tick, that'd be pretty cool, right? See, like right here, we play this, heal our opponent, get the Ezreal tick.
There's nothing a good giggle can't fix.
I think we can go for it. Good chance he has some kind of combat trick here, but If it's twin disciplines to trade, then fantastic. And if it's a twin disciplines to not die, then also okay. Sure. Kill her with a mystic shot now if we want. About to drop all this Ice Veil Archer Thunder on our next attack. This is awkward. It depends on how much mana he spends here. Like, if he plays a 4-cost unit, we're 100% got a Mystic Shot Lulu. If he plays like a 2-cost unit, then we have a decision. Kinda okay with just Ice Veil Archering Lulu if that's the case. We'll see what opponent does. Like, he probably doesn't really want to attack her anyways. But I have to imagine that if drop my ring. I have to imagine that if he's not able to get a trade here, then he's just not going to take it. Now that combat's over, we're good to play the Mystic Shot. So if all of his Twin Disciplines is now as a counterspell, then that's pretty good for us. Okay, here's our big aggro turn.
A true Freljordian welcome.
Each life
Jerk.
a rare jewel.
Winter take you.
Much Frostbite all the time. Concussive Bomb, okay.
How about another round?
You cannot win. Your attack is obvious.
Sure. Alright, now let's see what happens here. This is, reasonable turn to play Alpha Wildclaw, reasonable turn to play Progress Day. All depends on what opponent presents here. So, like, how does this attack look? It's going to be like a Taric and a Fuzzy Caretaker, which becomes a 4/5 tough, which is going to give Sparklefly +4 attack. So, like, none of our blocks are going to be particularly good. Alpha Wildclaw should be able to tango with Taric. He can't give it +3/+3. He only has 3 mana left here. So, this might be enough to shut this down. Okay. Now the support deck's a little bit weaker on the crackback when all their units don't get support. We'll look for that in a minute. What? Okay. How far's your flip? Your flip is way off. And an Ezreal. We can get him to flip here. Well, no, he can just block with this thing. Alright, let's just bring it in.
Fade and be gone.
I assume some parts of this are going to fail, which is fine. And then also, if we're just like trading combat tricks here, that's pretty fine as well. There's no like ultra scary combat tricks. Ooh, wow. Did not expect it to go that well. But there's not a lot of ultra scary. Like, he can't play back-to-back. He's not playing Demacia. So, that went about as good as we could hope for.
The power of our order.
That is quite a set of cards to pick up. It's a good deal. Good deal. We're ready for action. We'll get this Ezreal moving. You note Ezreal does not combo with Troll Chant. This doesn't work. But the Ice Veil Archer and Brittle Steel will get this ball rolling. nothing here is too scary anymore. Maybe losing our Wild Claw. I'll just start with Ezreal.
They don't know what they're up against.
Between both Troll Chant and Brittle Steel, I think we have to be okay with this Ezreal, but I do want to start trying to get like max value out of this stuff. And so I'm going to get the pet. I'd like to get the Peddler down before we play Brittle Steel. Not incredibly likely that that'll happen, but one can dream. And, that was my bad. Troll Chant does work with Ezreal. I had Troll Chant and Taric on the mind. This doesn't. Troll Chant doesn't target Taric only, and so that doesn't work out.
Heard there was a little fella asking for me.
But seems pretty good for us. Why? Why would you do this?
Arrows at the ready.
Look out! I don't miss.
Let's see where this one gets us. You don't need a whole lot to go right here. The Wild Claw, if it gets blocked by his 4/3 Usari, is 3 damage. Then even if he'd have to not block Ezreal to not die here, then he would get him with the Mystic Shot. So he's gonna have to have a little bit of something. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a block and a homecoming. Like I don't think we win solely on this attack very often, but we're pretty close to just closing this game out.
This one will do.
So yeah, there's the neg 1. So at a minimum, he's gonna have to like send Troll Chant or send the Archer back to our hand. Hang on, are we just lethal? No, he goes to 1. Okay. That should be back to being lethal with the target in there now. It can be kind of scary. He can still like bury your life still out of this, but as far as like combat tricks go, we don't really care anymore. Or if he does something to take down our Ezreal, then we probably still just win the game.
Honor the
Okay.
mountain. Save the homestead.
All right, let's get to digging. see if we can find a spell.
Yup, that tastes of purple.
Okay.
And Ezreal is victorious. Oh yeah.
See, there's that Ezreal winning line again. That's crazy. That's nice. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Don't want Mechanized Mimic. We don't have good combos with this. The Gotcha is a reasonable pickup. Again, I want to have some more spells here. I'd like our units to spells to be a little bit closer to even. All right, but off we go. But yeah, like I can't remember what that count comes up to. If it's like you end up with a 36 card deck, right? So it'd be like 16 and 16. Is that I don't know. We've been doing this for a year, but don't know how many cards are in our deck. That's about right. But I think it's about 16 and 16. But then if we assume that like 15 of those spells can target, and then we have the 5 Icefell Archers, that gets us up to about half of our deck being able to target and get this Ezreal going. So good stuff from that standpoint. The Aurelian Souls. Okay. So, similar to that one we did before, we probably have to hang on to the one Mystic Shot, but I don't want to have multiples of Mystic Shot. Just not a whole lot of deck in this, not a whole lot of cards in this deck that Mystic Shot is particularly spicy against. Curious if we don't play the yearling. It's probably okay. It's just if we want to have 4 mana on turn 3 for like an Icevale Archer Shatter, then we can't play our 1-drop. But I have to imagine that we're going to be the aggro against this Aurelion Soul style deck. It's like I want to be super clever with these Icevale Archers, but I don't think we can do it. I wanted to just send it back to see if he plays a unit to hit with the Archer. But I'd say there's a world where he just doesn't play anything. Maybe we should have shattered this so he can't play like a Trundle this turn, but it's fine. It's like the thing with this is that it doesn't really stop much aggression.
A true Freljordian welcome.
We have to get something in here now. Let's see if he's going to add any units to the board.
Winter take you.
Doesn't seem like he's going to. Then do we open next turn is a legitimate question. That's fine. Get some usage out of the Shredder. I guess with this thing having 1 health, we're probably want to go ahead and play the Shredder. It's like he's there's a good chance that he doesn't play a unit that interacts. Oh, stop game. A fucking cat is like chewing on my mouse cord. This is the struggles that Rutgers US 9 is not going against. Just stop, dude. Jesus. Okay. All right, we're back. So yeah, like it has to assume that he's. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one for us. It can only trade with the Shredder. Just get this thing out of here. Okay. Can handle this. It's a big old chunk of damage. Our Ezreal's getting close to flipping. Need 1 more spell. Okay. Incoming Aurelion Souls, apparently. I'm curious if this is actually 2 or 3 Aurelion Souls. With just all the ramp that this dude has.
Shroud the world in wings.
Probably have to kill this thing.
I'm on it.
So at least my intent here is to Eager Apprentice into Ezreal. You can just take the damage from this thing, that's not a big deal. Oh my god.
For a true display of skill.
I don't know what my cat's deal is, just chewing on cords today. Alright, we'll get this sorted, it'll be okay.
Firing.
If we can stop Aurelion Soul for 1 turn, this might be good enough.
Knocked and ready.
What once was 2
That's annoying.
now is 1.
Excuse me?
I don't think we can ever count on him to just have this rando Golden Sister, but it's generated from Eclipse Dragon. Like, what do we expect out of this? It's okay. We can move our Brittle Steel down here to the Silver Sister, but it was a pretty sick pickup for this guy.
You are beneath me.
I don't think there's an actual more brutal card that he could have hit off that Eclipse Dragon.
They don't know what
Yeah.
they're up against.
Okay. Let's hit one of these progress days or something. If he's going to luck it out on us, we got to luck it out on him a little bit. Brutal.
humble estate.
That's what we get. I've been passing on a lot of Eclipse Dragons here recently. He's probably just mad at us. You know, it happens. It's the same thing when you make these cards premium and they feel good about themselves. They get a little upset when you pass on them, and I've been passing on a lot of Eclipse Dragons here recently, so I get it, dude. I get it. How bad is this? He's just gonna gain 10? Incoming Aurelion Soul? Yep. Oh, sure, guy. Oh, sure. I think this one's probably done.
Your favorite star. I created it.
Eons old and still.
He's gonna
no
flip. We
manners.
needed to Mystic Shot this. We couldn't risk him. Oh, okay. He's gonna give it all to us.
Do you know
All right. Well, here's how you get yourselves out of these games.
Charge!
my legacy?
That's about right. I think our opponent is out here Eclipse Dragoning into Golden Sisters, and we're hitting Tribeam Improbulator as our epics. That's about right. But maybe it'll be enough to carry us here. We got him pretty far away from flipping this Aurelion Soul. We hit with everything. We're only getting in for 2 damage, so probably just got to count on Ezreal from this point forward. Really need progress stick.
How they stare.
He's just gonna get it. He's gonna get KO'd by a supernova or a the big AoE. Yeah, I can't imagine our Ezreal's long for this world. We'll just give it up once he has the removal spell for him, but we'll stick around until that time comes.
Firing!
I don't know. Hey, we're just a progress day from turning this around. Yeah. Okay. Brutal. What a turn of events. Like, we could have made an attack before he played the Golden Sister, but
Really?
like, just ultimately you can't count on that kind of thing ever happening to you. Nonetheless, we're moving forward. I'm okay-ish with getting rid of the Benefactor for the Mystic Shot. We are kind of like counting on a lot of work to happen from Progress Day. But hopefully this is enough to... hopefully it'll be enough. It's so random with the Benefactor. Like, I kind of like it in the sense of, like, if we have a deck to where we're like, well, you know, we want to be able to just draw like a couple of cards. You know, it tends to be something you see in a lot of like mid-rangey decks to where you're just kind of like, well, you know, I really just need like 1 or 2 cards, and then I'll feel like I've overwhelmed my opponent. We aren't really one of those decks. We need a big density of cards to actually be good here. Alright, I'm back. Cat was being ridiculous. Let's get her out of there. Oh my god, these cats.
The Sun Children deny our light.
Alright, this will be okay. Like, I don't want to have to Ice Veil Archer shatter this Shadestalker, but you know, we'll see how it goes. We're getting our targets in here somehow. Seems like he's more of a Diana deck than an Aurelion Soul deck, so I don't know why this has multiple Aurelion Souls in it, but I guess the answer will present itself to us before the game is over.
My arrow won't miss.
Oh my gosh, no. He'd give a little black kitty cat back. He's the one that knows how to hang out like a normal cat. It'll be just a matter of time. A matter of time, he'll be back. Okay, we can handle this.
Know your path, for the mountain changes.
This just draws Alpha Wildclaw, right? We don't really care about that. I'd almost rather... We haven't lost any Yeti Yearlings, right? No, we have not. Let's get things going with this guy, I think.
Leave your bags at the door.
Let's bank up a mana this way.
That's a little something I like to call fun.
And I do want to get this Mountain Scryer off of the board. He's a little bit scary as far as... But, I mean, I guess he's kind of... It's weird. He's kind of presented himself as a invoke deck for part of the time, and now he just doesn't seem to be one. But
Leaping into action.
let's see what happens here. Okay. And how much do we think that we need to kill this Mountain Scryer? Because we can Mystic Shot it, take it down now, or we can try to Chempunk Shred it next turn. I'm just going to Shred it. So we'll let that go. We're running out of cards here and need a bit of help. This is scary. Kind of snapped that one off. Oh, it's the Trickster? Okay. This turned out reasonably. Why is he being so protective of this thing? I guess he's not going to get much better out of a Guiding Light here, but let's go ahead and take it down. Wow. Why? Why so serious about this Mountain Scryer? That's incredible. Okay. I mean, I guess this is what we're doing, right? This is it. He's all in on this Mountain Scryer for some reason. I don't know. Maybe we can just trade for this thing at some point. Crazy invested so much into that. Makes me feel crazy for investing so much into it the other direction. I say we just trades here, right? Yeah. We're pretty all in on needing an Ezreal now, and he's pretty far away from being dead. So I think we're gonna have a real struggle winning this game, but see what we can do. Yep. Man, I thought our deck would actually be like, I didn't say it when these things came up, but I thought our deck would actually be decent against these Aurelian Soul decks, but baffling to me that... I mean, I guess we've gotten against people that have just like ultra ramped into their Aurelian Soul and our draws haven't been like super aggressive, but thought we'd be able to like get Ezreals down and flip and stuff, but this one's done. Go ahead and give this up. Yeah, man, I thought the deck came together, reasonably well. I guess it is just a function of, to a degree we're playing like a burn deck, and then, that one dude gained a ton of health, and then here he did get to ramp out his Aurelian Souls, and there's just not a lot we could deal with it. And so I knew our deck wasn't like super good. I said, at some point in there, I didn't really feel like this was a 7 winner, but that was kind of a weird one. Like, I don't know what these people's deal is with playing all these Aurelian Souls. It's something we really never recommend you do, and I really still stand by that. But I guess it is what it is. And so yeah, I mean, I thought this was a pretty educational moment on what this what this Ezreal build around tends to look like. We have, most of the cards we really want in this style of deck. The only things I'm looking at in here that I don't really want are like having these Puffcap Peddlers and then things like Chempunk Shredder. And so, we're pretty close to having all of the cards in the deck that we would like. But, as you could see, and as I kind of tried to call out in here, it's very easy to just like run out of cards. That's why, number one, it's so ultra important to have all of these Ice Veil Archers. So you aren't having to like physically spend a card to get an Ezreal tick. And then you really want to have like AoEs. And so, we typically look, I shouldn't say AoEs, I should say multi-targets. And so we usually look to like say, make it rain. because Bilgewater plays fantastically with Ezreal in that sense. If you're playing Make It Rains and Parlays and then drawing a bunch of cards with Pole Sharks and Fortune Croakers, then he's able to get out here and get flipped and still have a lot of juice going. But if you're playing with Freljord for Icevale Archer or Noxus for Stun Spider, then you really have to watch how you end up playing your spells, because you will run out. And so you could see that here. I don't usually look to be one of these decks to where we're like flipping Ezreal and then trying to spew off a bunch of mushroom clouds. I think it just like asks too much of the deck. This is typically the way we see it, as being some kind of like, we're getting in here and dealing like 12 damage to our opponent, and then finishing off with Ezreal as much more a reasonable expectation. And that's, kind of what we got together here. In these last two games, we drew Ezreal in that previous one, but that was the Golden Sister guy. But I'm going to say we won a lot of these games without Ezreal. It seems like we didn't pick him up early very frequently, and so that was a touch awkward as well. But yeah, and so, I don't have like a specific, like tier list or things I like to call out for this style of deck, but the big things to think about when you're constructing this are, you want about a 50-50 split between units and spells. Otherwise, you're just, you're never going to flip your Ezreal, or you're going to flip him and you're not going to have any spells to cast after he's been flipped. So that's a big one. Make sure you're about 50-50. You need some kind of either multi-target or unit that can target, be it your Icevale Archer, it can be Stun Spider, it can be Make It Rain, it can be Harsh Winds. Static Shocks work reasonably. You got to have some kind of way to deal multiple level ups out of single cards. And then, kind of lastly, you need to have some kind of card draw. And so that can be, kind of like the real tough one to pick up. Our card draw, and the only ones you really get access to these days are things like Progress Day. But it's very easy to run out of cards if you're just sitting around trading one for one. And so something to pick them up and help carry you through the end here. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. Let's see if there's anything back here. Looks like we have a reward to claim, something to click on. And then, as I've been saying throughout these past trials, because the new cards should be coming out this week. If this video comes out on Tuesday, May the 1st, then the new cards should I think they should be out on Thursday, May the 3rd. So if you watch this, as soon as it comes out, you probably got 2 days to go. So, head over to the Play Runeterra Twitter, check out the new cards that are coming out, and let us know what you think here. But, that is going to do it for us today. I hope you all learned how to Frostbite your Ezreals a little easier. That's not a good one. That's all we got, though. You learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.